What is your relationship with mystery? I am here today to revive your sense of creativity because we have lost our connection with mystery. Us in the West, we think that everything can be distilled down into a little formula, into a little mathematical equation, that everything can be captured and solved, that everything can be understood. But I ask you, how many words would I need to capture you? To fully understand you? For nothing else to be said, nothing to be left unsaid. Would I need a book? To fully understand, never to be surprised by you, ever, just capture you in your entirety. No. Because reality doesn't work that way, and for sure you don't. Humans do not fit into a mold. We are paradoxes upon paradoxes, and we are endlessly interesting. It's fascinating. I want to give you a little exercise here. I'm going to put up a picture of a duck. Some of you might see a rabbit. And now that I'm after pointing it out, all of you will see the duck or the rabbit, but notice that you will never see both at the same time. It is impossible. The picture doesn't change, reality doesn't change, but your perception of it can flip between both. Understand that both aspects are there without seeing both at the same time. You can only ever see an aspect of reality. That is what we are. That is what it means to be a finite creature trying to make sense in this crazy world. Is to come to terms with the fact that the version of you that I may know is a version of you, is an aspect of you. And I might draw out certain strengths, I might draw out certain weaknesses, I might draw out certain characteristics more than someone else. You might appear to be something completely different to someone else. And yet you are you. You are real. You are a mystery. I'm going to give you another wee exercise here. I want you to look at this flower. Now don't focus on anything else, just look at the flower. Just discipline yourself here, sit down and I want you to look at this flower for say 10 seconds. Now this is what we call a hard look. I primed you for a hard look at least. Meaning that you just looked at the flower and kind of switched off. You just disciplined yourself, looked at the problem without, well, let's contrast it. What would a more curious gaze see when it looks at this flower? Look at the flower again and realize that it is endlessly interesting. I don't need to prime you. I don't need to tell you where to look or what to look at. But this experience of looking at it this time will have a different flavor. It will have a different coloring, a different tone to your experience. Once you approach the world with this lens, with this curiosity of noticing the details, of noticing aspects, but always understanding that you're never going to fully capture what you're looking at, then you can start projecting. You can start imagining what those aspects may or may not say. You might start using your imagination. William Blake famously argued with a thistle and pretended it was an old man, fully understanding that no one else would see it as an old man. But that was rich for him. Projecting that character onto the plant was a rich experience for him. What would such an old man say to him? What would such an old man see in him, advise him? How would that pull you and pull your perspective of the world? How would it stretch what you see around you? If you started looking at the little ornaments around, what would they say if they could speak to you? What have they seen if they could see? What different perspectives would they have? What different characters would they have? And that is so creative and is so fulfilling, is so much more fun. We have to recognize, I believe, I'm projecting here, of course I am, but I truly believe that we have to stop problem solving quite so much and recognize that we will never problem solve the entire world and resign ourselves to that. We have work time where we problem solve, we try to fix things, but then we have leisure time where we recognize that we can't solve everything, and that perhaps we should stop trying for a little bit, and perhaps we should project and imagine and create, and perhaps that would actually increase our problem solving. Not that we do that to that end, but by stretching ourselves, by getting all of these different perspectives, by interacting with the world and playing around, that we might be a bit more active. It might revive us. It might revive our curiosity and our creativity and our imagination. That is the path of getting older, or so I'm told, is that as a child we are endlessly creative and imaginative, but we have no discipline and no focus and no way of kind of honing ourselves to do much. So we learn and we get conditioned and we pick up all the pieces from the adults. Do this, don't do that, all the rest. Think of it like an hourglass. But then as an adult, we have to fulfill that top end of the hourglass. We have to revive our curiosity, our creativity, our imagination, and we have to see that, hey, it's okay to talk to a thistle. It is okay to wonder how the wall outside our house might feel. It is okay to lean against the tree and imagine what its life story may be, might be, could have been, should have been. That is what I want to share with you today. That is the experience, that is the exercise I want to share with you today, is to go outside and hard look at something. A tree, a plant, a wall, man-made or nature, either one. And then try and soften that gaze into something more curious and recognize that no matter what is in front of you, it is endlessly interesting. It is not identical to any other of its type. Reality is always more complex than we can understand. And that's beautiful. But it's scary. And surrendering into that has been very fulfilling, has been something of a turning point for me. So I wanted to share that with you. I hope this reaches you well. I hope you're doing well. And I'll leave it there. I will see you guys next week. Bye.